In the sterile, humming silence of Station Helios 9, Ethan Ross was a man consumed by the color gray. His coffee was cold synthetic sludge, his double shifts were a blur of identical cargo manifests, and the message from his sister, stating their mother had 6 months to live, cast a pall over his existence that no artificial light could pierce. Distracted by grief and a bone-deep exhaustion, he shuffled toward Bay 12 for a routine inspection. But fatigue is a trickster spirit. It guided his steps to Bay 13. The airlock hissed shut behind him, not with a mechanical clank, but with a pneumatic sigh, sealing his fate with the finality of a tomb. It is often in our greatest errors that we find our true azimuth. The corridor beyond was not the ribbed metal of human industry, but a smooth, pearlescent artery that pulsed like a living thing. The air smelled of ozone and orchids, a stark contrast to the machine oil of his life. Before he could process the error, a door whispered open, revealing Leary. She was the first officer of the Luminina, a creature of impossible grace, with silver-blue hair and elegant, elongated ears that tracked sound independently. She informed him, with a voice like harmonic music, that the ship was jumping to hyperspace. Opening the airlock now was inadvisable, a polite diplomat's term for explosive decompression. Ethan was trapped. The universe, it seemed, had a dark sense of humor. Captain Serana, a woman whose authority was worn as naturally as her skin, offered hospitality rather than the brig. She served him alien fruits, purple ones that were safe, and blue ones that induced euphoria, and a green cup of steaming liquid that the ship itself had synthesized after agreeing that station coffee was an atrocity. But as the days bled into a routine, Ethan noticed the eyes. The entire crew, all women of the RA species, watched him with an intensity that bordered on hunger. It was Kess, a violet-skinned engineer with a penchant for personal space invasion, and Mayin, the cultural liaison, who finally explained the mathematics of their fascination. The RE population suffered a severe gender imbalance, with males comprising less than 5%. Humans were compatible. Ethan wasn't just a guest. He was, as Kess colorfully put it, catnip. He expected to feel preyed upon, yet he found only gentle curiosity. He spent evenings teaching Leary English, fixing supply manifests for Serana, and realizing that for the first time in years, he wasn't just existing. He was being seen. But peace is a fragile construct in deep space. The Luminina intercepted a distress signal. The human research vessel, Meridian, was caught in the gravity well of a dwarf star. Serana gave Ethan a choice: continue to the jump point to ensure his prompt return to human space, or delay everything to attempt a rescue. Ethan, looking at the crushing darkness on the view screen, insisted they help. He found himself in the engineering bay, bridging the gap between species. Kess's technology was organic, designed to heal. Human engineering was built on redundancy and pessimism. Ethan guided them to anchor the tractor beam on the Meridian's stress points, shouting over the groaning hull. "We design for failure," he yelled as the ship shook. "That's why it works." When the Meridian broke free, the cheer that erupted wasn't just for survival. It was for the strange, chaotic harmony they had found together. Returning to the station felt like stepping back into a grave. His apartment was too small. The silence was too loud. When he called his sister, she saw the change in him immediately. "You're choosing something for yourself," she told him, granting the permission he was afraid to ask for. "That's not abandonment. That's growth." Ethan returned to the Luminina, not as a passenger, but as a man making a choice. He found Lyrie at the ship's Victory Festival, amidst bioluminescent streamers and music that vibrated in the chest. She offered him a hand for a dance, a cultural signal of possibility, a question without a contract. As they moved through the patterns, Ethan stopped overthinking. The final test awaited on Alun, the Ari homeworld, a planet carved from light and crystal. The ruling council, skeptical and imposing, demanded to know why a human would abandon his own kind. Ethan stood before the elders, leery, watching with bated breath. He thought of the gray station and the cold coffee. "Earth offered me survival," he declared, his voice ringing in the chamber. "Alun offers me life." Honesty, it turned out, was the only currency that mattered. The council relented. Stepping out into the crystalline city, hand in hand with Lyrie, Ethan Ross looked at the alien sky. He had boarded the wrong ship, a mistake by every metric of logic. But as Kess dragged him toward the glowing night markets, he knew that sometimes the wrong ship is the only one that can take you home.